Well, hello, everybody. This is Larry, and I'm here with the Larry and Eric Radio Hour on the Blue Collar Radio Nation radio station. Is that what it is? The Blue Collar
No,
Nation?
dude.
My intros are crazy.
They
Huh?
are like a roller coaster of wrong. It's Blue Collar Nation Radio.
Blue Collar Nation Radio. You sure there's not a station at the end of that?
Josh Smith.
No. And I'm with my business partner and co-host of this Larry and Eric Radio Hour, Mr. Eric Sprague, the Tech Whisperer. What's up, Eric, today?
I am in Maine
Yeah.
right now. So you and I are very far away and 3 hours apart. So
Yep. So how is it going up there in Maine?
yeah, dude, it's weird. I grew up in Portland, and Portland is it's a tourist town. I mean, like, it's the biggest part of the economy here is tourism.
Yeah.
And I've just been at my parents' house. I haven't really gone anywhere. So last night after working, I just needed to get out of the house, and I drove around.
Yeah.
And we have a downtown district that's, full of high-end restaurants and bars and shops and this and that. And, in the summer, normally, man, you can't even drive through the streets. It's so packed. I drove down there last night. It was practically a ghost town.
Not a lot happening, huh?
No, I mean, they did do some cool stuff. They took concrete barriers and then put them across the streets, and then the restaurants on that street moved all their tables outside, basically. Yeah. So they're all out in the middle of the street. It was pretty cool. From what I could see, they like hung white lights around, and all the streets were pretty full with restaurant goers, so that's encouraging.
Yeah. But
there just weren't like a lot of people. I mean, it was like a fraction of normal. It's weird, dude, because you used to, in this town, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, it's just overrun.
Yeah.
And that's how they make their money. That's how they make their living.
So it's going to definitely affect the economy at this
point.
Well,
also, one of the big things here is we have a deep port. So we get those really large cruise ships coming in the summer.
Yeah. I see.
They're not coming.
They're not coming in, huh?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, so I guess my point is, I mean, it's just different. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like
kind of eerie, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's eerie. It's like it's empty. It's not hopping. Portland hops in the summer, especially because it's the only 3 good months of the year weather-wise.
Yeah, exactly, because it gets so cold. But it's been so hot lately up there, too. The whole of New England right now is just on fire.
Yeah, today's better. Today's supposed to be a bit better, but it's been super humid.
Yeah, because you guys are right on the water, and you get a lot of breeze coming through.
Yeah, but when the humidity's really high, that breeze disappears. It's just like dead. It's like dead air. I remember playing baseball growing up. I hated that when the humidity would get so high, the ball doesn't travel. So I can remember like being in Little League, and my Little League field was literally on the ocean, like right next to it. You could see the water from the field. Yeah. And you'd have these like muggy, almost like half rainy days. And, a pitch would come down, and I would just club this thing. And then I'd look up, and the ball would just like not be going anywhere. And some kid in the outfield would catch it. I'd be so angry because on a dry day, that thing was 40 feet over the fence.
Should have been just shooting for base hits during those days.
Yeah, totally.
Whacking it out there is just not going to happen.
I don't roll that way.
You got to be creative to get on base. Base hits go a long way.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you the story of this kid that grew up in my neighborhood? He was a really smart kid, and he was a horrible athlete, man. I mean, he just really sucked. And, we would play all these games, and he was always the last kid picked, and, the whole thing. Nice kid, a couple years younger than me. And he was on my Little League team, him and his brother. Neither one of them could play a lick.
They were just no good, huh?
No, they're like gazillionaires now, the both of them, because they took their family had a big business and they took it even further, and so they were very cerebral, not so athletic. And do you remember, Larry, the thing where there was like a fiberglass rod and a molded baseball on the end, and then it was an elastic, and it had like a concrete base and then a metal pole that stuck up,
and you'd hit it,
and the thing would fly around, and then the elastic would catch it, and then it would come whipping back the other direction. I mean, dude, you could never get that made today. It was like the most
dangerous,
deadly thing ever, right? So this kid, we had one of those in my buddy's backyard. We all used it. And this kid, one day, we were all playing wiffle ball or whatever, and nobody really used it because everybody's kind of afraid of the friggin' thing. All of us have been injured by that stupid thing at some point or another, you know? And so we're in my buddy's kitchen eating cookies or whatever. And one of the kids, the cerebral kid, is out there, and we're watching him, and he's winding the thing up by hand. You're supposed to hit it and wind it up. He probably couldn't hit the ball. So he's winding it up by hand. And then he'd let like a lot. And then he'd let the thing go, and it would just start whipping around. And then he puts the bat up like he's going to hit it. And then he leans his shoulder into it, and the thing clobbers him, right? And he goes down on one knee, and he's grimacing in pain. And we're all watching out the window like, the fuck's this kid doing? You know, like nobody in their right mind is. So we all kind of ran outside and went, like, bro, what are you doing? And he goes, well, look, here's the deal. I'm not under any illusion. This kid's like 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
I'm not under the illusion that I'm going to get a hit, but I can help the team if I get on base. So I'm practicing getting hit by pitches.
Oh no! He was doing the bad news bear thing. He was practicing getting hit. Well, he wanted to contribute.
Yeah. I mean, I think I had a less appreciation for it then.
No, you're totally tooling on the kid. What are you doing? That's the dumbest thing in the whole world you could be doing. What were their names? Do you remember?
I do. I'm not going to say. Protect the innocent.
No, I was not quite that bad, but I was one of the kids that weren't good, so I can relate a little bit. I'd at least practice a lot. I had, get to my limit, but yeah. I had a lot of guys give me a hard time. What are you doing? Doing my best. Get away from me.
All right, I got another great story. I got to tell you. So
another sports story. Right on.
Yeah. Well, just like neighborhood playing around. So same crew of kids. We had like 20 kids that all lived in the neighborhood. And we all ran together. And in the winter, the snowbanks in Maine would get up like 5-6 feet on the side of the roads. Yep. So we used to play Nerf football in the street where you get to tackle each other into the snowbank. Like it would have to be like not tackle in the middle of the street, but if you were on the sideline, you could cram the guy.
The snowbank's soft, right?
Yeah, so you could cram the guy into the snowbank, right? We love playing that. So there was this one guy, just total jerk off. Lived down the street. Now the street had like a little bit of negative grade, and it went all the way down the street and then down a hill and right into the ocean. Right. So the guy used to honk at us, and sometimes he'd speed up, and we'd all have to
he wasn't one of the guys you played with. He was one of the guys that lived on the street. No, he was just some
asshole that lived on the street, I mean, so we're like 15 or 13 and he's 40, whatever. And he'd always stop the car and swear at us and get mad that, it took an extra 5 seconds to get home for him, apparently. And that was a huge hassle. Yeah. So I had some friends, too, that were just delinquents in general. And
the guy was asking for it. You got to admit it.
So one day he rolls down the window. And he's just like screaming at us, like, you effing kids, get out of the street. I'm sick of this and blah, 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 blah. And he's kind of rolls through. And one of my buddies whips the Nerf ball and hits the back of his car. So now that guy's really pissed.
So get out of the car?
Gets out of the car, leaves the door open. Here's the thing, dude.
I think
He left it in neutral. And there was just enough grade, right? Just enough grade. The car's just slowly rolling down the road. And we're all sitting there and he's screaming at us. And we're just watching past him as his car with the door open is just rolling down the road. And I'm just sitting there thinking, all right, who's going to tell him and how far down the road is it going to be before we tell him? So, and look, dude, like I said, we were a bunch of freaking Mainer kids. We were jerk offs, And so the car gets down the road. And all of a sudden, my buddy Dickie Wright goes, "Hey, asshole, your car's about to go in the ocean." Dude, that guy turned around and like his head exploded. And I just remember him running like full, like Jason Bourne in the Bourne Identity, like full bore, trying to catch his car. Dude, he got it right before it went down the hill and into the water.
Oh my gosh. He must have. So what happened next time he drove past?
He never bothered us again.
Yeah. He realized it hit him.
Yeah, he's like, these kids are not gonna. We would not have given up. I think he knew we were relentless.
Yeah. Wow, that's classic, huh?
That was so
we had
funny.
A bunch of people. We had this cul-de-sac we used to play ball on. We had the same group of kids that we'd play ball. And on the two houses, like on first and third base, would not want the ball coming on their lawn.
Oh yeah.
And they'd come out and they'd yell at us if the ball got on their lawn. And we didn't get the ball in the lawn. One time, the lady came out with a Windex bottle and whacked one of my buddies, was swinging it at him. I don't know if she hit him or not. I can't remember.
Oh my God!
I think we created lore where she hit him with a Windex bottle. I don't remember if it actually happened. Yeah.
10 years later, she was hitting him with a golf club in the story.
And then they had kids that we hung out with. There were girls in the house. An older son who was maybe 7 or 8 years older than us. But the daughters, real cute daughters, at that age, you don't look at that. But they were cool kids.
Obviously, you were.
Well, older in high school. I was like, wow, we should have been hitting the ball in their lawn. Or we should have been more often.
You're right.
But anyway, the woman would come out, and they had a limo company. They had this big limo. The father drove a limo or something. We never did anything to the limo. The limo would be there periodically. Be careful, the limo's there. Don't mess with the limo. We didn't even play if the limo was there.
Right.
And we were respectable, but this lady would lose her mind.
The mom.
Oh, yeah. She was just, and now as, I don't like referring to myself as an adult, but as grown up, certain things in life set you off. She must have just released on us. Just like the guy in the car. He must have had a horrible day at work.
Probably.
He was just taking
but dude, but there was a long history. Every day must have been a horrible day at work.
Yeah, exactly. And then many people live that life.
Yeah.
So
we had another guy, same neighborhood.
Yeah.
His name was Mr. Bibber, but we called him the Bibbler. And when we were little kids, we used to play tennis instead of playing wiffle ball. We had one guy had a pretty big yard, so we'd play tennis ball. So we'd use a regular baseball bat and use a tennis ball, and that way we used baseball gloves. Yeah. And when we were little, you couldn't really hit the ball. Like maybe you hit the ball and it rolled across the street onto the Bibbler's yard.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that would be like the farthest. And he used to get pissed about that. Right. And then as we started to get a little older, the ball would start rolling into his yard more. So then what he used to do is he used to put a lawn chair in his driveway and freaking yell at us every time. Or when the ball would
challenging you.
Or the ball would roll into his yard and he'd keep it. And dude, when you're little, it's not
grumpy
like
guy. Grumpy
it's not like
people,
you just run to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy more tennis balls. You're scrounging them up from wherever you can get them.
Yeah. And
you want to play with the good ones, not the one that's from 1972. Yeah. So it was like getting increasingly tense, and we weren't going to stop playing. I mean, that wasn't happening. So I had started to grow first out of everybody.
Yeah.
And
so you wanted the Bibbler, huh?
No, Well, we were playing, and the ball was starting to like get out of my buddy's yard and roll across the street and hit, and he kept the ball. So one day he's sitting there, and Larry, a pitch came down. I just drilled this friggin' ball, right? Dude, line drive, straight across the street, right off his house, like hard.
You didn't hit a window?
Luckily, if I hit a window, it would have gone right through. No, it hit the siding. It hit the siding. Like,
boom!
nobody ever, and we all just stood there dumbfounded, right? Like me included, right? Like, it's a golf ball when you do that accidental pure and you just hit one further than you've ever hit it in your life. Yeah. We all just stood there like, whoa. And dude,
is the bibbler out there?
Oh, he came across it's the only time he left his chair, came across the street, just started screaming at us, I'm gonna call your parents and rah, 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 rah. And then the same guy, the same kid that threw the ball off the guy's thing was like, dude, we're like 13. And this guy's like 65, and the kid goes, "Fuck you, bibbler."
Oh my
god! And then his head exploded, because he's like, "Where's the respect?"
Yeah, exactly. Where's the respect? We're
young kids. We don't have any at that time.
Poor bibbler.
We had another place we used to play where they had a dog.
Hang on, I got one.
Oh, okay.
We had a yard with this big German Shepherd that was an attack dog, and they used to come and they train the thing to be a attack dog. The guy would be padded up.
Oh gosh.
So we'd hit the ball, and they were nice people. Don't get me wrong. We used to hit the ball in their yard, and we'd jump the fence and run and get the ball and run back before Gentry. The dog's name was Gentry. It was a big German Shepherd attack dog. So one time, I'm in the middle of their yard, grabbing the ball.
So were you always the kid being helpful that I'll jump the fence?
No. We just take whoever hit the ball, go get it. And sometimes we knock on the door, sometimes we go get it. Well, I'm in the middle of the yard. I can still picture it. And they opened the sliding glass door, and Gentry came out right at me. This dog was like 20 yards from me, if not closer. And I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. Gentry's going to chew me up.
Yeah.
Rah, 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 is coming at me.
Like full speed.
Oh, dude. I mean, that's what its job was. He knew I'm in his yard. So luckily, dude that lets the dog out goes, Gentry, stop. And boom, the dog stopped on a dime.
Yeah, because he's highly trained.
And I was like, oh, my God. I thought for sure I was a goner. This dog was huge.
Well, it's a similar story, but it didn't end this
hang
way.
on.
Oh, you're not okay.
One more Gentry story. So I wasn't there that day, but my buddy Ray and Kenny was there. Gentry jumped the fence with one of its buddies that was visiting and chased my buddies down. They ran up to the top of the top of the swing set, which I still don't know how that made a difference because it was only like 8 feet up in the air.
Yeah,
the dog could jump up.
But were they like hanging on to the top pipe?
No, they got on top of it. It was the thing where we used to get on top of it.
Okay.
And the two dogs jumped and barked at him for quite a while. And I said, what about the guy next door? Did he come and get his dog? Well, eventually, but they didn't know that, of course, the dog can jump the fence. It was only like a 4-foot fence. It was just trained not to. But apparently his friend was over that day. And the friend said, let's just jump the fence. So you got 2 German Shepherds chasing the kids around the backyard, gonna eat their legs. Classic. They're throwing the balls and the bats at the dogs, and it didn't make a difference.
The dog thing's scary. That's what I was going to say. We used to play wiffle ball in a yard where they had a 6-foot white fence, and there was a trained Doberman on the other side.
In the 70s, that was in.
That was the thing, right? And dude, we were I don't know the dog's name. It was like Darth Vader or something. I mean, it was like the scariest dog you've ever seen. And the fence was like, it had slats so you could kind of see through it.
Yeah.
And he would stand, or she, I don't know if it was a male or a female dog, they would stand and just like salivate and watch us play, And then every once in a while, somebody would hit the wiffle ball over the fence, right? And so we had this kid. He was kind of a chubby kid, and we kind of always made him go over the fence. You know, we used to kind of push him up over, yeah, because you know, and then we'd kind of end up pulling him back over, and so he jumps
the wiffle ball.
So he jumps the fence and he gets the ball, and I mean he's booking like, dude, what's that kid and what's the chubby kid in Sandlot? What was his name?
I don't remember.
He's like that kid, right?
Smalls.
Yeah. So he's like Smalls. And all of a sudden, bro, the Doberman comes flying around from the front yard.
Oh, no.
And we're all like, oh, no.
Run.
Yeah, so he's running, and, you know, he's kind of chubby, and he doesn't run super fast. And so he throws the ball over and gets his hands up on top, and he's pulling himself up, and we're all like on the other side trying to pull him over. Dog gets hold of his jeans, like right on the ass, and then will not let go, Larry. Doesn't have any flesh, just
that's
hands.
good.
Yeah. So somehow we yanked him hard enough that the pants ripped. And we pulled him over, and the dog's on the other side with this like chunk of denim.
The denim Levi's.
We stopped. That was the last game there. We decided that was
didn't have any more.
No, that was it. All right.
Yeah, actually, this kid's name was Ham. It wasn't Smalls.
Oh.
Smalls, you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
Ham was the redheaded.
Yeah.
Stepchild.
Yeah, that's what this dude looked like. Anyway, he was a good kid. He was actually kind of brave because I think, you know, he wasn't the best wiffle ball player. So he was trying to prove his worth by saying, well, I'll be the guy that jumps the fence every time.
I'll be the guy that runs from the Doberman.
I'll be the guy who has the elastic band thing hit me in the shoulder so I can get on base. I'll never forget that as long as I live.
No, anyway. It was great.
Anyway, I don't know how we got down this road.
Being a kid is fun. I had a good time being a kid.
It's a lot better than being an adult.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I kind of enjoy being an adult as well. But, you know, it was just like Sandlot. That's how it was growing up. If you've seen the movie Sandlot, it was just like that. What was the girl's name in the pool? The lifeguard, Pendergrass?
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I remember we used to play football. We used to play tackle football on this like big piece of grass in front of a high school that was near my house. And, you know, we were like 10, 11. And I had a buddy, and he had an older sister. So she was like, I don't know, 2 years older than us.
Yeah.
A year older than us, you know. And, you know, dude, she was a good athlete. She was one of the guys. She always played football with us when we were kids, street hockey, wiffle ball, whatever. And we just treated her like one of the guys, right? You know, so she was always with us. And she had turned like 13, so we were like 12 or 11, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember, I'll never forget. So we're like playing tackle football, you know, no pads, just playing tackle football. And she's like running down the sideline with a ball, and I go and I tackle her hard, you know, just like we had always done. And she gets in. I don't know. I like threw her to the ground or whatever. She gets up.
Nice.
Yeah, but dude, she was one of us, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But in her mind now, she's 13. So she's becoming a woman or whatever. Yeah. Like, she didn't tell any of us she's becoming a woman, you know, or whatever. So
you didn't necessarily notice.
I didn't notice. And she gets up and she whips the football off my head. Just throws the football on my head, and she screams at me, "Hands off the merchandise!"
Oh my gosh!
And I'm like, "What merchandise are we talking
What merchandise are you talking about?"
And we told her,
funny.
We told her if she was gonna act like a girl, then she had to go.
You couldn't hang with us anymore.
Can't hang with us anymore. I think by that point she was fine with it.
So in high school, did you guys still hang out with her? Was she an athlete?
Yeah. We hung out with her. We didn't play tackle football.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, she's totally great. Totally cool.
Wonderful.
Hands off the merchandise.
Hands off the merchandise. So that's what happened when Smalls was in the pool.
Dude, you remember Sandlot way better than I do.
I've seen it with the kids a bunch of times. Yeah, it's really good. You should watch it with the kids. Have you watched it with your kids?
No, I need to. I should. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Let's move on from childhood.
Right.
So, speaking of aging, how's your neck?
Neck's getting better. I was out last night. I'm motivated to get Paige out. Paige is my daughter, and I want to get her out riding and being active because the kids now, they don't have a lot to do. They're out of, there's no sports.
Yeah.
They're not going back to school. Are they going back to school? Who knows? There's not a lot to do. So I'm trying to get her on.
It's easy to sit around and eat and play video games and do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's on her phone, and I can't fault the kid because there's nothing else to do.
Dude, I was talking about that real quick. Can you imagine if we were her age and this happened to us? Like, I don't know how I would have coped. We were never home.
No.
Way less than our kids.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in the summers we were always at the community pool, but I don't know if the community pools are even open, so I don't even know.
No, they're not in Utah or haven't been. I don't know if they are now.
Yeah, thinking about that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, I've been taking her out biking.
And your neck, like,
my neck is not working. I haven't biked in about 3 weeks.
Scale of 1 to 10 would
Improving.
What's the pain level?
It's a lot less. Maybe I'm at like a.
I mean, it was 10
6.
for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
it was bad.
It's down to like a 6 or a 5. I mean, if I sit still and I hang out, it's calm and cool. But I get on the bike and I lean over immediately, I can feel it. But it was a lot less yesterday, and I just wanted to get her out. So we just took a little ride, and we put it all on Strava. So if anybody is on Strava, you can see Eric and I on Strava and see what we do. It's kind of cool. It's the Facebook for athletes.
Endurance athletes.
So anyway, we did 7 or 8 miles.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and we TikToked up the mountain because we live in.
Yeah, I would think the climbing would bother your neck more though, because you tighten up more.
Dude, I don't know what it does, but it wasn't. I'm very functional with it, but it goes down my arm because the upper vertebrae, there's a herniated disc.
Yeah, you got a pinched nerve or whatever.
Yeah. So it was better last night. We rode. I feel fine right now. I'd ice before and after ice like 6 times a day. So yeah, I was just happy to be on the bike.
Yeah.
And I was happy not to be in excruciating pain. Towards the end, I was pretty tired. I think if I biked early in the day, my neck's a lot more resilient than in the afternoon, because in the afternoon it's just tired and wore out, and it's pinched and it's inflamed no matter how many times I ice it. So
you might want to think of like massage therapy or something at some point, just to loosen, because dude, your muscles around it must be really tight.
Well, that's what the icing has been helping. And
doesn't that make it tighter?
No. I'm getting bigger ice packs, so it's a lot wider. So it goes down my traps.
Hotel ice.
Yes. I've been using more ice, and that's been actually feeling better because the ice loosens up the muscles. Huh. And I'm glad you said that.
That's funny, dude. I've never done well with ice. I'm a heat guy.
Yeah. No. The ice works miracles.
I'm not saying it never works. It's just I find I don't get great results with ice. Yeah. Personally.
Well, it works great. So things are improving, and I hope to where we were down at Seal Beach last weekend at the beach, and we went to the downtown, and we passed by the place where we eat when we ride our bike down the 605 trail. And
did you get mugged?
No. Seal Beach is fine.
No, I meant on the road down to it.
Yeah.
Do you remember when that guy was running at us? When we were almost back from Seal Beach. We were on San Gabriel. It's San Gabriel River Trail.
Yeah, I don't think he was running at us.
Dude, he was running at us. I had to swerve into you to avoid him. What are you talking about?
I think he was just running. He wasn't running at us.
But Larry, if he kept running, he would have hit us.
Yeah, but he was a little wound up from the night before. We had nothing to do with him. He was just out of it.
Yeah, well, I think he was on meth.
Yeah, meth.
Meth.
So anyway, these trails, the 605 trail, anybody that bikes, it's really cool. It's like the huge cement river in LA. And
Dude,
you can
it's not called the 605 Trail.
What's it called?
San Gabriel River Trail.
All right. Anyway,
Nobody calls it the 605. Although I kind of like that name. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. See, it's just catching on. So when you're in California, these are great rides because you get all kinds of people going up and down, and you rarely get people running at you, like Eric's saying.
Yeah,
But,
although that trail is known for people getting bike jacked, and it goes through some pretty shit neighborhoods.
Yeah, but if you go like at normal hours of the day, you should be fine. Yeah. It's a great ride. What's it like? 35 miles, 40 miles in each direction.
Yeah.
And there's a slight incline overall the whole way, but you don't really notice it.
No, it's a good ride. And you get down to Seal Beach, it's fun.
Down to Seal Beach, have something to eat, kick back. The ocean's right there. Turn around and head back. Boom.
Yeah.
It's a good ride. So anyway, I hope to be doing that ride real soon. Hope you're doing any ride. Oh my gosh.
I haven't ridden that much either. I mean, I've been doing mountain bike rides, but they're all like 5-6 miles. Although 5 or 6 miles on a mountain bike's like 15, 20 on a road bike.
What do you got? A motorcycle running past you?
Yeah. Welcome to the age of Zoom. Sorry. It's so hot, dude. I have to have the windows open. I can't. I would be sitting here sweating my ass off.
Wrenching in sweat.
Yeah. I did that on some of our podcasts. Well, let's get into that. Dude, we podcasted like pros this week.
We did a lot.
Oh my gosh. In the last several days, we've done like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I think from end of last week through this week.
It's been a busy week.
They were great.
Really
I'm burnt on the podcasting.
For a lot of good guests in there. We had Tommy Mellow the other day. We had Mike Michalowicz.
Mike Michalowicz. He went up yesterday. He's up online.
We did Skylar.
Yeah. We did Brandon Donatelli from Matterport. We had Dr. Nicole Rankin.
She was great.
Millennial expert. That's a good one.
Her name again.
I don't know how you do that, dude. I think like whatever they tell you, your mind just wants to do the opposite. You're the guy that wants
so much written down to say. They just get overwhelmed.
Yeah. It's funny. We had Tommy Mellow on, and for anybody that doesn't know, Tommy Mellow's president of A1 Garage Door. They're like a $40 million a year company. He's really built that up from scratch. And, Tommy's an interesting dude, but one of the things he said was one of the best things that helped his business was his starting a podcast, because he has all these guests on and he learns so much from everybody that, he takes those nuggets and he uses them. And he's like, I've been exposed to people that I wouldn't have been exposed to otherwise. And I think you and I feel that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things to take out. I mean, the podcast with Mike Michalowicz was really fast.
Yeah, and you and I recorded one with Chris Yano yesterday. That was good.
Yeah, Chris Yano, tons of cool, and just his energy and his positivity, and how he could focus. He was so purposeful with what he does. Yeah. He found out what works. He found his one thing, and he does it. Yeah. And then he hired a team to do it, and he's doing well.
Yeah.
I expect he's doing well. It just seemed like he was dialed. And I guess maybe that's what I struggle with, is finding the one thing and do too many things.
Well, I think he figured out, when he figured out that one thing, he realized that was what was going to get him accomplishment versus activity. We talk about that a lot. And then he does a lot of activity surrounding only that one thing.
And he does the things that people don't want to do by listening to all the calls from what he was saying.
Yeah.
If you listen to the podcast, it's not coming out yet. It'll come out soon. But listening to the calls was huge. And he said it's the most boring thing, but it's the most essential thing to do for his business.
Yeah. So let me back up for those. Won't do. But hold on. Let me put some context to that. So what Chris does, Chris has a digital marketing company that gets work and new leads for home services businesses. Tend to be bigger ones. Yeah. But the cornerstone of that is he realized he has to listen to all the phone calls to make sure that the customer service representatives are actually closing those leads, because he could do all the best work, get the leads to come to the phone. But if the CSR can't close those leads, they look
CSR.
customer
Tell 'em what the
service
CSR
representative.
person
Everybody
answering the
listening knows
phone.
what that is.
Oh,
And
yeah, okay.
you know, because his success or failure isn't only on him. He has to make sure that the customer service rep is doing their part. So they have 54 people who do nothing but listen to phone calls all
Listen
day,
to phone calls.
every day. Yeah. That's pretty
Yeah, but he's
dead.
doing what somebody else doesn't
Yeah.
want to do.
Exactly.
And he can charge that. He said the margin's real slim, but he's got
on that
margins.
Part, on that part, yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. But just that he figured that one thing out. And that's what we all need to figure out. What is the one thing we're going to do that's going to make everything else easier or unnecessary?
I think
by doing that.
You and I are super guilty of this. I think most people who are entrepreneurial are guilty of this too. We have a tendency to do too many things poorly as opposed to finding that one thing and digging in deep and doing it well.
I don't know if it's too many things poorly. It's just too many things average, and you're not making a difference.
Okay. Well, I call that average is poor.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So finding that one thing is a big deal. So that's cool. So anyway, that was a great, we learned something just like Tom and Mellow, and we're going to be more focused and purposeful now from what Cristiano said. And he is doing really well. He's buddies with Gary Vaynerchuk.
Vaynerchuk.
Vaynerchuk. Is it Chuck or Chuck?
Chuck, I think. Whatever. Let's talk about 2.0.
Morning Tech Meeting 2.0. We listened to what our clients were saying, and they were saying that we need, some help here. We're not able to put together this meeting every day.
Yeah.
And, why don't you expound on that a little bit before I give my 2 cents and you tell me I'm butchering it?
Only if you fuck the name up. So what we did was Larry and I recreated what worked well for our business. And what worked well for us was that we committed to doing a daily meeting where everybody got together. We had a short lesson. We discussed that lesson for a few minutes, and then the guys would head out the door, right? So Larry and I know that nothing builds culture, engagement, better behavior in the field, all that, than doing it that way, right? So when we started Morning Tech Meeting, we did exactly a replica in video form of what Larry and I had done all those years. And look, people love it. But the common complaint, and look, not every business was just like ours, is, hey, I got guys in multiple locations. They have worked multiple shifts. We can't get together. We have a hard time even doing once a week, let alone 5 times. Is there a way to do this so that we don't have to meet? Like, can the guys still get the lessons and we don't meet, or we meet once a week or whatever? Now, Larry and I would tell anybody listening, if in any way possible, you should meet. Meeting is key. It's building social capital with your people, right? But if you just can't, we have taken what everybody was
can't as often.
We've taken what everybody was giving us the feedback on, and we're changing the way that we're doing it. Can you still do a morning meeting where everybody comes in and you play the thing on a video screen or TV? Yeah, we recommend that. However, we've hired programmers. They're working on it where it can be texted directly to all of your team, right? So if they're not coming to the office, they could still get that 5-6 minute lesson every single day. And then, there'll be quizzes, and they can take those quizzes on their phone. And then the owner will be able to see if guys are passing their quizzes, if they're watching the videos, taking the quizzes. Yeah. All that stuff, so that there's some data so that, you can hold your team accountable. So that's coming out within the month, probably, Larry. You think that's a fair timeline?
And we think that's going on, but the grading.
Yeah.
And
so we have some beta programs going right now where guys are getting texted, and the feedback's been really, really good. The owners are saying like, hey, this made my life a lot easier. And then, what they're saying is like the guys are talking about the lessons out in the field while they're working. They're just not having that formal meeting.
Yeah.
So, our job, we sought out a consultant too. And, the guy is a friend of ours. And he said, look, you have to be selling convenience to the owner. If it's more work for the owner who's already overwhelmed, it probably won't happen or won't happen nearly enough. So we took that lesson and we got some feedback from you guys, and 2.0 is on its way. And we think it's going to be a game changer for you guys.
Be very helpful for the technicians in the field to get the training. And the soft skill training is so essential. It says, train the techs. Yeah, we train the techs. But training the techs how to deal with situations that the owner doesn't train them on goes a long way.
Well, it's setting them up for failure in a way, because they're not trained to deal with, all those customer issues. And then that makes failure for the company. So it's a lose-lose all the way around.
Yeah.
Look,
and how many companies train their people, when they hire them, and they never train them on the soft skills. They give them a couple of videos to watch, they give them a little lecture, and then you never train them. This is continuous.
Or they spend an inordinate amount of time training them on technical stuff, thinking that that's going to be the answer to make the company better. And look, you got to be good technically. There's no doubt. I mean, we're in technical professions. But that's not where the problems come from.
Yeah.
The problems come from your guy's parked on my lawn. Your guy isn't talking to me. Your guy won't give me a straight answer. Your guy's late and didn't let me know. Your guy is making a mess in my living room. Right. Right. No, but Larry, how many of those phone calls have you taken in your life? And you're just
guy's talking on the phone in my kitchen to his girlfriend. Can we please?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the things that, give you a 3-star review, not a 5-star review. Those are the things that when they, their friend asks, should I use ABC, heating and air conditioning? They say, I don't know, dude. My experience wasn't horrible, but it wasn't so great either.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want that. You want every single person in town to be like, they're the best. And the only way that you can be the best and have the best company is to train your technicians on all these soft skills, because those are the touch points. Look, customers, I say this all the time, it's like a broken record, but customers aren't judging you on how good you are at the technical stuff. They just figure you can do it. That's why they hired you in the first place. So what do you get judged on? Did Timmy park his van on the lawn? Is he talking to the girlfriend at full level? Like all these other things that's where you connect with the customer. That's where we win or lose in the service business. So, the whole point of 2.0 is to get Timmy and Susie and Bobby and Michael and everybody else a lesson every single day and just drip on them. This is how we behave in homes.
Yep. Continuous, consistent training just goes a long way.
Larry, can I segue into a blog that I wrote? I don't know if you've sent this out or not, but I wrote this blog the other day. You did send it out?
I did send it out, and we got a bunch of people opening and commenting on it, which was very nice.
Yeah. So, I wrote a blog post called The Hero and the Victim. And,
The hero and the victim.
Yeah, but I see this too much. And we've done this too. I think every owner has done this on some level. Some people do it more than others, but entrepreneurs love to be both the hero and play the victim. And that is just a recipe for failure, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, they love to be the hero where every time something goes wrong, every time there's a fire in the field, Eric goes and saves the day. Right. And what do? You get a big endorphin rush. Like, I'm the man. Like, nobody can do it like me. Look, I fix all these fires out in the field all the time. If it wasn't for me, this place wouldn't be anything, blah, 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 blah. Right. But at the same time, then they go sit and have beers with all their friends and play the victim. Oh, poor me. All my guys suck. I work 7 days a week, 14 hours a day. Poor me, I hate my business, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, so you want to be the hero all the time and you want to be the victim. So I want to have my cake and I want to eat it too, right? And that's like an epidemic amongst probably all entrepreneurs on some level. And look, the reason I was able to write this is because I certainly been that person. Larry's certainly been that person. But at some point you have to say, I don't want to be the hero anymore. And I don't want to play the victim either, right? Well, how do you get that? That's training and culture and doing all the things that we try to do at morningtechmeeting.com to
Getting some
help
coaching,
to give you
some
tools
direction.
and a system to stop having to do that. Because look, as soon as you're spending your days putting out fires and getting that ego rush, your business is grinding to a halt because you're not marketing, or you're not tracking your numbers, or you're not sitting and training somebody on some way to be better. All you're doing is spinning your wheels. And then, to go home to your wife and kids and complain every night about how sucky your life is no way to live. So if everybody gets trained up and you spend your time and energy, instead of putting out fires, you put it on growing the team, then you don't have to be the hero and you don't have to be the victim. And then you can take your self-worth from the fact that I grew a great company, not that I put out another fire.
Yeah.
Took us a while to learn that lesson.
Quite a while.
But but Larry, some guys get stuck in that forever.
A lot of coaching invested, and but you got to take the coaching and learn it and run with it, and you got to implement.
Well, look, and a lot of the coaching's great, but I don't know how many of the coaches are saying it like, stop being an idiot. Like, sometimes I think some of the coaches are too nice to us. Like, we need to just be like, dude, you're trying to be the hero and the victim. Cut it out. Stop. That's stupid. Like, just stop. Let's fix this. It's like, oh, well, you could do this better. Like, I think in retrospect, at least for you and I, we would have sometimes benefited from a firmer hand.
Over the top of the head.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I'm with you. No, that's a big deal. And everybody, any service business owner can relate to some of this at some level. If they don't want to acknowledge it consciously, they know it deep down inside. And it's something that, you have to get past if you want to be successful and off the truck, and not even off the truck, just to have a smooth running business.
Yeah, to like your team and like going to work every day. Put a price tag on that.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you it's more than $39 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So anyway, yeah, don't be that person. We spent too much of our life in that portion, and it was no good. And and then systems. I want to segue into systems there. We have a webinar coming up next week. We do a Thanksgiving webinar every month because Larry's favorite
holiday is
day of the year is Thanksgiving. So we thought that
Thanksgiving's a 4-day holiday. Sometimes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Why not have a 4-day holiday?
So it's like birthday week.
Nope. Birthday week is expected. This is just giving to you.
No, birthday week is not expected.
That's what they think. Some people seem to think that they get birthday week or birthday month.
I hate
those and them are the closest of us to us. So
yeah, exactly. Larry and I are not birthday people, for those who couldn't figure that out already.
No. Hang on. We're birthday people. We're not just like the whole world stops on a dime because it's our birthday.
Yeah. It's more like
your birthday.
Happy birthday, pre-COVID high fives and hugs. Here's a cake. Now go out and let's do it.
And continue your day. Bada bing.
But we had a lot of people in our company that liked birthday week. That was a struggle for us because, when you have 20, 25 people, it's somebody's birthday almost every week.
Take one person out of the cog of the business.
No, it's not even one, dude. It's like 3 or 4 because they always have a couple buddies and then they're all on birthday week.
Yeah. So anyway, you can't have a system where people are taking time off for their birthdays.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Thanksgiving. We have a webinar every month on the Thanksgiving day of that month.
Yeah, last Thursday of every month.
Last Thursday month. So this week it's on this month it's on systems.
Yep.
And a lot of the things, systems define a business. And if you're listening and you're a blue collar service business owner, you need to put a system to everything you possibly can. And when you do that, it works really well. but you only should be doing one at a time, because you'll get overwhelmed and you won't do any. So you do one system at a time, and all of a sudden your business gets easier and smoother.
Yep.
And the quick story, every day when we didn't have systems in the morning, everybody would come in, everybody running in circles, cleaning out their truck. One guy cleaning out their truck, one guy putting supplies on his truck, another guy trying to figure out how to get gas, another person asking questions about their job, another person doing this, another person doing that. And it was a zoo. How many years did that happen?
Too many.
It was a mess.
Any more than 1 year is too many.
Ugh,
Your first year in business, like, all right, we'll give you a hall pass on that one. But after that, no way.
So you got to create systems in the morning. Where are they going? Where are their jobs?
Brett Gilliland said it best. Brett's
rhythm.
A guy to have a rhythm to your business, that every day is the same. You do the same basic things the same way, the same people doing them every day.
Same checklists, same expectations, same training.
Yep.
So everybody knows how to do it.
And look, here's the thing. No matter how systematic you are, you're going 80-20 rule. There's always going to be 20% of the things that are outliers that aren't going to fit in those systems. And you got to just be okay with that. But if you think about it, if you get 8 out of 10 things that cause you problems out of the way because you built systems, you have a completely different life and business.
Yep.
Completely. So, we're going to talk about system building. You know, Larry already alluded to, you can't build 50 systems and hand them a 30-page manual and say, read it and expect it all to happen. It doesn't work that way. Tried that.
No, you have to hold people accountable.
Well, and you got to implement one thing at a time and not move on from that thing until everybody knows how to do it, and they do it, right? And we'll get into that in a lot more depth. And we'll talk about Al Levy, a buddy of ours, who's kind of like Mr. Systems and some of the things that he does. And it should be fun and hopefully informative for people.
No, it'll be great. I mean, just take something. We used to go to these seminars and webinars and events, and if you take 1 or 2 nuggets out of it, that's going to either save you a ton of money, make you a ton of money, or just make your life easier. You can't even put a price tag on it. It's so worth your time. And I guarantee that you will get something out of this webinar. And that's pretty much what we try and do. That's what we tell everybody. Cool. So
all right,
it's very cool.
Let's land this plane. Books and podcasts. What are you reading? And
this morning I was reading Gary Keller's One Thing. So that's on my mind. Purposeful. Yeah. Do my 10 pages a day, usually more. 10 pages minimal. 10 pages every morning, and then as much as I can get to. Yeah.
I'm starting this today.
How the Irish Saved Civilization.
Yes, I read it years and years ago.
You're showing me like the people on the radio can see it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot this wasn't going on video. Yeah, they're sitting there like, the hell's he talking about? He's just silent. Yeah, it's about...
You think that's pretty funny, that humored you, huh?
Yeah, what an idiot I am. I'm all red. I'm going to read that. I read that like in 1990 or something, 95. I'll try to read it again. And then I listened to a really, really good podcast. I went and saw our buddy Tony in Boston a couple days ago. Driving back, I listened to the Ed Milet podcast, and he had this guy, John Seraph, I think I'm saying his name right. He was in that book, The Secret, or that movie or whatever. Yeah. And it's all about mindset. It's all about training your mind on getting the things that you want. And this guy's been super successful. And, he used this analogy, Larry, that was like really got to me. So he's like, so what if you had no acting experience, right? But somebody in Hollywood came and said, look, we're going to pay you like $20 million to do this movie.
Yeah.
Your job is you need to memorize and practice all the lines in this movie. He's like, what would you do? Right? You have no experience. You have nothing. Like you're starting from scratch. He's like, you would read and practice those lines 12 hours a day, right? Or what? Yeah, you're like $20 million bucks. He's like, that's what you have to do with your goals. He's like, you have to be reading them multiple times a day. You have to be writing them out. You have to be, making vision boards. Like you're playing that in your head over and over and over and over and over until it becomes a reality. And, I've gotten away from that. Remember, I used to do the thing in my younger days when I carried that 3x5 card with me everywhere. I looked at it all the time. It's the same thing, right? And he has like a 50-page book that he's created about every little aspect of his life and how he wants it. And he just works through that multiple times a day, like looking at the pictures, reading it, all that. So Ed Milet with John Assaraf. I think I'm saying his name right. I'm not sure. You got to listen.
The most recent one?
It's the most recent one. You got to go listen to that.
Okay.
It was so good. For anybody who wants to excel and have more out of their life, I can't suggest that enough. I'm going to listen again.
No, Ed Milet has a great show.
Yeah, he does. And that's really it, dude. I've been working and hanging out with my parents, so I'm not reading or listening to much right now. What about you, podcasts? Anything good lately?
I haven't been on the bike. Ugh, losing my mind. That's when I did that. Ed Milet, Millett.
Mylett.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I have not been because that's when I used to watch. That's when I would always listen. So I listened to a ton of them.
Yeah.
Mike Rowe, How I Built This.
Yeah, that's your jam.
Yeah. Not How I Built It. It's called.
All right, dude. Let's dock this boat.
Yeah. So anyway, hopefully everybody got a kick out of our show, the Larry and Eric Radio Hour. We had some fun, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And you're going to be listening to this during the week and all the other podcasts that we have that post on this radio station. So everybody, be good humans. Have a good day.
Be good humans.
Bada bing.
Yeah, there we go. Bada bing.